The morning sun washed the Harrington corporate tower in molten gold, making the glass walls glow like a palace in the sky. Inside that world of power and perfection walked a small, 12-year-old girl named Marina Hale. She held a worn brown envelope close to her chest, as if it were the last truth she could protect. Her backpack straps were tearing. Her sneakers were dusted from miles of walking. Her breath wavered between fear and an unshakable determination. Dozens of polished employees glanced at her as the revolving doors spun behind her, but Marina kept moving. She hadn't come for attention. She had come to return something she found on a park bench, something she couldn't understand, something that felt too important to ignore. But the one thing Marina wasn't prepared for was laughter. The receptionist hesitated when Marina asked to see the owner of the envelope, but eventually she pointed toward a sleek office at the end of the hallway, an office belonging to Grant Harrington, one of the city's most powerful investors. Grant sat behind a flawless glass desk, his posture perfect, his suit expensive, his smile as sharp as a blade. Marina stepped forward and held out the envelope with both hands, simple, small, but heavy with meaning. Grant didn't even glance at it. Instead, he exchanged a look with his assistant and burst into booming laughter, loud enough to echo through the glass walls. His assistant joined in, their amusement bouncing off the polished floor. To them, Marina was a joke, a prank, a child wasting their precious time. Marina's fingers tightened around the envelope, but she stood her ground. She told him where she found Iton, an old bench at Riverside Gardens, how she protected it from the wind and the rain, how she used her tiny school library computer to find the corporate address, how she walked for an hour, all alone, just to bring it back. But her words only made Grant laugh harder. And for the first time, Marina wondered if kindness even mattered anymore. What Grant didn't know was that Marina's world was nothing like his. She lived with her grandmother in a cramped apartment where the electricity flickered and dinner was and tea always guaranteed. She studied by a window cracked just enough to let in the winter wind, but she believed in honesty. Her grandmother had taught her that returning lost things was not just polite, it was right. And after all the walking, all the courage, all the hope, here she was, being laughed at, humiliated. Just then, the office door opened. A frail elderly man stepped inside, leaning on a wooden cane. It was Arthur Linwood, a retired architect and a volunteer for the city's Historical Restoration Council. His silver hair glimmered beneath the soft office lights, but his eyes sharp, gentle, and world-weary locked instantly on the envelope in Marina's hands. His face changed in a flash. Recognition, relief, shock. Arthur approached slowly, asking Marina where she found it. She repeated her story, her voice small but steady. And as she spoke, Arthur's hands began to tremble. He took the envelope from her, his fingers tracing its worn edges. Inside that envelope were his original architectural drawings, months of work, hand-drafted plans for the city's most important heritage restoration project. They were papers he thought were gone forever when his briefcase accidentally opened near the park bench. Grant's arrogant smile faded instantly. The laughter died in his throat. Arthur looked at him not with anger, but with a deep, profound disappointment. He explained that these papers were priceless, irreplaceable, absolutely essential to preserving the city's history. The billionaire who had laughed at a child just moments before now couldn't he look either of them in the eyes. The weight of his own callousness settled heavily on his shoulders. Arthur placed a gentle hand on Marina's shoulder, thanking her with a sincerity that almost made her cry. He asked about her school, her grandmother, her life. He listened to every shy word she spoke. He saw her not as a nuisance, but as a hero. And Grant finally understood the true weight of the moment. Marina wasn't a joke. She was braver, kinder, and more honorable than most people he knew, people who lived in his world of wealth and power. Arthur insisted on helping her not with a quick handout of cash, but with something far more valuable: opportunity. He offered to mentor her in architecture if she ever wished to learn, to support her education through a scholarship, and to stay connected with her grandmother to ensure Marina got every chance she deserved. Grant quietly apologized, not out of obligation, but from a place of genuine, stinging shame. He walked Marina out of the office himself, leaving his stunned staff watching in silence. When Marina stepped back outside, the sunlight felt warmer somehow, softer, kinder. She didn't know what her future held, or how much her life had just changed. But she knew one thing for certain: doing the right thing had changed more lives than she ever could have expected. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to World of Kindness. Your support helps us spread stories that remind the world that goodness isn't gone. It just needs a voice. Before you go, comment below. Kindness still lives. And with that, Marina walked home under the golden daylight, never knowing that one small act of honesty had set off a ripple of kindness strong enough to outshine the tallest tower in the city. Thank you for watching.